Welcome to the Tourism Hub podcast, a podcast devoted to you and your excellence, providing inspiration and education for the entrepreneurs, experience makers, and excellence seekers of our industry to take your tourism business and career to a whole new level. And I am your host, Despina Karatius.
Relax.
Top of the day, my tourism-loving friends and family. Today, I have dedicated an episode all towards hashtags. Yes, that's all I'm going to talk about. Let's focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is the power of the hashtag in your social media marketing. So, how are you using hashtags in your social media marketing activity? Is there a method to your hashtag madness, or are you writing hashtags wherever, whenever, whatever, and hoping they attract followers and grow eyeballs to whatever particular post that you are doing at the time? So what I want to focus on with you during our time together is really help you to take the guesswork out of hashtags and help you plan your own hashtag strategy. Yes, I talk about this, I train about this, and I want to encourage you to think of your hashtags in the same way that you would any other marketing plan, and that is to have a hashtag plan and a little bit of a hashtag strategy. So as well as this, I want to share some of the tools, the best practices of hashtagging, and certainly what I've been using over the last little while, and that's really helped me with my business and certainly helped other clients and students with theirs too. So when I deliver training around creating and cultivating smart collaborations and partnerships and packages and the like. Hashtags are really a bit of a glue that play a huge role in this. And what I want to talk to you about or plant the seed is around delving further into just how important hashtags play in your social tourism marketing. So some things that I want to cover is just a basic introduction, because this is something else that I get there's no question. Whatever training I'm delivering and the H word comes up, hashtag, there's always I don't even get what they do. What are they anyway? Why should we even bother with these? So I want to give you a little bit of an intro. How to research and complete your hashtag strategy for your tourism business. How to create brand-specific hashtags. Tools of the trade and tools that you may have heard of or may not have heard of. Just some tools to put on your radar. Hashtags on like where do hashtags work and where should you be using them, and how to track promotions across social media for using hashtags. So let's get ready to get our hashtag on. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's cover some of the basic hashtag principles. So what is it? What is a hashtag? Hashtag is basically the pound sign, so used to represent pound, or what we know on our phone keyboards as the number symbol. But what happens when we use the pound sign followed by a key word or a phrase without any spaces, it can be used in many different ways. So technically, it's been around for many years, but it's only really taken off in the last few years as social media has grown and more people have become engaged in it. So what I want to share with you is the concept that as opposed to throwing random hashtags into your social media posts, you take the time to develop a bit of a strategy that's include things like destination specific, brand specific, experience specific, and trending hashtags into your digital marketing mix. So when I say trending, that we want to look at what are the most popular hashtags in our niche or our space. So we're all in the business of tourism, visitor economy. We all are experiential products and services. So we want to see, rather than just doing things that we feel are popular or we feel will attract the right people and audiences to our community. We want to look at what's already trending and what actually is used and what actually is popular that we want to incorporate into our strategy rather than just going on guesswork and our gut. The great news and the great thing here is that most social platforms support hashtags. So this makes it a whole lot easier to track, especially when you use the right tracking tool. Let's pause there, more on tools later. So as we go into this, I want to share with you some reasons why I believe that you can't really afford to not use hashtags strategically in your social media marketing. So number one being they allow for highly specific audience targeting. What the heck do you mean by that, Despina? So what I mean by that is when you want to target your message, especially what we're talking about, especially if you want to target your social media message to a specific group of people, there's really no better way than by using relevant hashtags. For example, if you're looking to market to people who want to visit Australia, you really must be using the hashtag See Australia. So hashtag CSEE, no space, Australia. And this way, you know that you are tapping into what Tourism Australia have invested in building the community around people interested in Australia as a travel destination. So there's been a big investment in time and money and a lot of content generation to use See Australia as the preferred destination hashtag for this country. So when this is used, anyone who's searching social networking sites for conversations about Australia has the potential to find you when you also use that particular hashtag. Okay, so hashtag See Australia, there's the example. If you want to target and grow and get in front of a specific audience, you want to target those people by using specific destination hashtags. And we use Australia as an example, Tourism Australia using the hashtag See Australia. Number two is they allow you to monitor your online reputation. Now, this I talk a lot about, and I've generated full training programs around managing your online reputation. So by monitoring your hashtags related to you specifically, your business, your brand, and your service and experience and product, you can always have an idea of what people are saying about you and what they're saying about your experience. So if you're not monitoring these hashtags, the online conversation when you're not in the room that are still going to happen anyway, you're just not going to know about it if you're not actually actively going in and seeing, number one, not only what are people saying about me, but just keeping a finger on the pulse and also having the opportunity to share experiences as your visitors are sharing them. So by actually monitoring your reputation, you also tap into some gold of how your visitors are actually experiencing your destination, your product, and your service. Okay, number three, they allow you to perform better customer service. So in the same way that tracking your company hashtags allows you to monitor your reputation, it also allows you to find and respond to comments, complaints, maybe sometimes quickly and efficiently. So by monitoring mentioning of your business, you can really make sure that you always know what's being said and give yourself an opportunity to also respond as quickly as possible. Number four, they allow you to keep an eye on your competition. So if you want to know what people are saying about your competitors on social media, try running a search for hashtags related to their business name or their experiences. So this can really shed quite a bit of a light on things like how often they're receiving complaints, how often they're posting, how they're responding to certain things, and how you can then also do something, be something, prepare for something different and set yourself apart from when it comes to your social media marketing and your social media service. Because ultimately, that's what is happening more and more. Social media marketing is becoming an extension of our culture. It's becoming an extension of the experience that we're providing. It's becoming an extension of the ability to connect and receive, I guess not just receive, but build those relationships with our ideal visitors and customers and guests. Another reason and benefit is that it will allow you to hear what's going on in our industry as a collective. So hashtags are a really powerful way to keep track of what's happening, not only in the wider industry, but in your niche particularly and specifically. So for example, say for myself, I managed a hot air balloon business for a long time. So there's visitors I want to attract to not only to our country, but to our state and to our regions. But then more niche in the hashtags, I can really track on what's happening in the ballooning industry, not just as a destination, aspiration or inspiration. We also want to keep track of what's happening. So whether you're ballooning or wine or accommodation or B&B or whatever it might be, then we can look further down into our specific niche of the experience that we offer. The number 6 is they allow you to promote special events, special competitions, special, I guess you might want to have a particular movement or a charity that you're aligned to, a partnership. It allows you to promote these things. So coming up with snappy, easy to remember hashtags for special events like this, or deals for that matter, or promotions to facilitate easy sharing. Hashtags can really give you an easy way to monitor a campaign. So an example of this is when the City of New York, they ran an annual photo competition and they used the hashtag LoveNYC. This allowed them to easily track the petition entries, and they also allowed to be part of and track and engage with all the conversations that were related to that specific campaign. There's nothing to stop any of us in any sized business to be able to do something similar. Okay? And last but not least, they help you find relevant, and this is more particular with Twitter, they allow you to find relevant, I guess, meetings or the content of events. So for example, I wasn't able to attend a recent event put on by Destination Melbourne, which was awesome last year, called Live Melbourne. And I was not able to go that day, but I knew I'd be able to just keep track of the awesome content and the speakers and the conversation using that specific hashtag of Live Melbourne on my Twitter feed. So it's a really great way to connect when you can't be in the room. So I hope that gives you a little inspiration around the benefits of why and how we can be using them, because they're really, really powerful and efficient by way of initiating or taking part in and tracking conversations that are happening in our industry and in your niches specifically. So the next time you're looking for a social media conversation to join in, why not go in and search for that particular hashtag that you're using? Now, some random stats and facts around hashtags. Specifically with Twitter, tweets that actually use hashtags receive 2 times more engagement than those that don't. Tweets also that have 1 or more hashtags, so one or two more hashtags, have a 21% chance of increasing a higher engagement than those that actually have 3 or more. So using 3 or more, this tells us, actually reduces engagement. Having 1 or 2 increases. Isn't that interesting? Now let's move on to Instagram and hashtags. So 83% of Instagram posts in general use hashtags. So if there's anything, if you just stop this podcast right now, please, one thing to note is that never leave a Instagram post without aligning it with any form of hashtag love, okay? Because we've got research to support that 83% of Instagram posts include hashtags. Further to this, Instagram posts with 11 or more hashtags receive almost 80% more interactions per 1,000 followers. And the fewer the hashtags on Facebook, the better. So when it comes to Facebook, they're not that hashtag friendly, although hashtags work. The fewer on Facebook, the better, okay? Now, the do's and don'ts of hashtagging. The do. Let's go through some do's. Use hashtags with visuals. Do use trending hashtags. Remember, we spoke about using them if they relate to your business only, but use hashtags that are already popular. Use proper spelling. Otherwise, your hashtag are completely redundant, not going to work. So make sure your spelling is correct. And this is where a strategy is really, really helpful. Do use words and numbers, so no emoticons or any special characters like the asterisk. Use numbers. So if you want to do a year specifically for events, you want to do Be Excellent 2017, but certainly no emojis. Don't do that great. Don't put a whole lot of words together. So hashtag string a whole bunch of words together is just, it can be funny, but it also can be really annoying. We don't have that much time, and trying to figure something really long out it can be a little bit annoying. So we want to stick to our business outcomes and strategy when it comes to using hashtags in business. Don't hashtag every hashtag word. So actually hashtagging every word in your status update is not favorable, and it's not going to win over followers. It might actually win an unfollow. And don't use a trending hashtag just because it's trending. Make sure you understand whatever the trending hashtag is. Make sure you understand what it's about, and if you're going to use it, how you can relate it back to your business. Okay. Now let's move on to creating a hashtag strategy. So creating a hashtag strategy. You've got the basic now. Now let's continue on to creating an actual strategy and how to go after your target market using defined hashtags relating to your business. Now, when you're doing your hashtag research, you want to find the best hashtags for you, specifically for you and your business. You also want to know how to create a brand specific hashtag, and I want to help you with your hashtag toolbox, so you can actually have some tools that will assist you in putting all this together, taking a little bit of time to set it all up, and then it becomes quite a seamless and fun process to be able to then optimize your posts using hashtags. Now, searching for hashtags related to destination first is my very first point of advice and guidance in creating your strategy. Start with we is what I always advocate and encourage. If you've ever been to one of my workshops or listened to me speak before, I go in with start with we. Start with your destination, okay? If we want to attract visitors to our business, we have to inspire and empower and educate about where we are first. So start with we. Now, to find a business, what we are doing here is not looking for just general hashtags like hashtag travel. You want to be more specific and use destination hashtags. I used earlier saying, okay, especially my first experience in selling a tourism product in a Victorian regional product. When I went to my first international conference, I really appreciated that my job here was not to sell me. It was about to sell we first, because when you're in an international playground and when you're on that international stage and you're competing with other extraordinary destinations, you really can appreciate that we are there to sell Australia first. And I apply this same principle to a hashtag strategy. So what this means is when we are applying our strategy, we want to go in first and say, okay, what is our destination hashtag first? Hashtag See Australia. Okay, let's chunk it down now. What is our state-specific hashtag? In my instance and where I'm based in Victoria, it will be hashtag Visit Victoria. Another very popular hashtag and something that has had a lot of money and investment for local tourism is also hashtag Wander Victoria. Wander as in WANDER Victoria. Now we look at the popularity. The last time I searched, a hashtag like Visit Victoria had 413,500 opted hashtags aligned with that particular term. In the same instance, Wander Victoria, because it's had a level of investment and drive and industry engagement, it was well over 92,000 active users using that hashtag. Okay, then I would break it further down. So we've gone country, then state, then our city hashtag. In this instance and my instance, it will be Melbourne and hashtag Visit Melbourne. If I was an operator in the Yarra Valley, regional destination southeast of Melbourne, I would be using hashtag Yarra Valley. Further to this, we need to, again, work very closely and keep our eyes, ears, and turn up to our regional tourism conferences to know that the Yarra Valley preferred hashtag and the movement they created around a campaign over the last 12, 18 months or so is hashtag Find Yourself. So you can go in assuming that it's just Yarra Valley that everyone is playing, but there's actually another more specific hashtag of Find Yourself. Then we want to go into your business. So actually hashtagging your business name or a movement you want to create. For example, a tour operator in the Yarra Valley, Go West Tours, they would then also put into their strategy hashtag Go West Tours. Break it down further to that, we have your product. Now, Go West, they perform and execute, and the experience that they do in the Yarra Valley are wine tours and gourmet tours. So they would use a hashtag like hashtag wine tour, which has over 302,000 posts into their strategy. So if anything, your top 6 hashtags that must always be at your ready and at your disposal to optimize your posts, especially on Instagram. You would have your country hashtag, you would have your state visitor hashtag, you will have your city visitor hashtag. Then let's go your regional hashtag. Then and only then we want to go your business and your product. I would use this same hashtag strategy that I have shared with you also in any of your presentations, in your content of your website. Let's take the opportunity here to be ambassadors, to be leaders, and start with we. We need to educate our visitors from all around the world and all around the country and all around our cities and our backyard. We need to do the same thing in educating why here before why us. Okay, so start with we. Okay, using hashtags to market your experience. We need to also find out here, what are our influencers using? Influencers being really, really popular accounts and people on social media. This is where we can find trending hashtags in your niche, and it's also a great way that we can engage with these influencers. A way to do this, for example, is to find and this is really easy to do via the search function the search function on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook for that matter. You can go in and just start playing around with using the generic terms like travel or hashtags tourism or hashtag see Australia, and you can really go and do some search and find these influential and large accounts, okay, that you may want to engage in, but also get some more inspiration on how and what other hashtags you can use. I shared with you top 6 hashtags that you can use. Certainly, though, I must let you know, and you can work this into your strategy, is that every Instagram post has up to 30 hashtags that you can use to optimize it. So there were the 6 musts. So all of your posts should have those 6. And then you've got another 24 hashtags that you can play with to incorporate some more generic or specific hashtags that are aligned to whatever experience it is. So for example, I might have an experience that operates in many different regions. Okay. And I might have multiple experiences. It could be, I could have overnight stays. I could have packages. I also operate ground tours. So you can see when we can categorize our different experiences in terms of what we do and the variety of the type of things that we post, that's where I would encourage you to take the time. And if you identified, okay, there are only 3 different types of categories of the things that I post about, I would encourage you to go out and search for and do some research on 30 different hashtags for those 3. Okay. And this is a really good way then to be optimizing your posts. Now, further to this, and even more getting more specific, is that I would not be searching a total of 30 brand new. I would always have the 6 that we've identified in country, state, city, business, product. Okay. The top 6 that we talked about, and then customize with the other 24 to make up the 30. Further to this is really, by doing this research in the beginning, it's a really good way to use hashtags that your ideal customer and the visitor that you want to attract is actually searching for. And you can do this by various ways of looking at things like Twitter and looking and searching on Instagram. Now let's get to some tools and using some hashtag tools to cut through the noise, because believe me, attempting this process without a good hashtag tool is likely to leave you really frustrated and in a frenzy and overwhelmed and going, oh, too hard basket, and not seeing it through to completion. So now, with thousands upon thousands of hashtags being posted every single minute of every single day, hunting down these relevant ones can be virtually impossible, or when it comes to only choosing 30 per post, we want to make sure we're choosing the best. So some tools I want to share with you that I can recommend are Hashtagify Me. So hashtagify.me. Tagboard is another one, Tagboard.com. And Tweetbinder, Tweetbinder.com. I'll pop this in the show notes on instituteofexcellence.com/podcast. Now, these all have their own unique little purpose, but some of the ways you can use them include finding top recent tweets related to your particular hashtag, sorting and organizing your top hashtags, conducting a bit of a competitive hashtag analysis to see where you're tracking and whether you're using the right ones, and also being able to track hashtags on cross-platforms. So what's working on Instagram versus what's working on Twitter. And if you're not really, I'm finding a lot of businesses are not really doing Twitter, and I encourage you to get into that space as well. And there are some accounts, some tourism businesses doing Twitter amazingly, and I think there is a great opportunity there. But I'm not going to squirrel, because the other thing I really want to encourage you to do is just stick with one and do that really well. So in terms of something like Hashtagify.me, if you want to identify topics that are trending in our industry, this is a great tool, as it shows you the top 10 hashtags that are related to a particular key word. So I'll use the example of wine tour or wine tours. You can pop that into a tool like Hashtagify Me, and then it will create a broader reach of saying, well, here are top 10 more or other hashtags that are aligned to this particular keyword or key hashtag. So if I wanted to find all the most popular hashtags related to social media, for example, I would simply plug the term hashtag social media or social media in the search box, and boom, a list of other trending hashtags that are related to social media will appear. And this is how I gather my information. So when I do a social media post, I've got in my little toolbox a list of those 10 hashtags that I want to optimize my post for. Okay, the other tool I mentioned was Tagboard. So with this particular tool, so tagboard.com, if you're looking to find relevant hashtags for Facebook and Instagram and Google Plus or any other popular network, this is a great option because it aggregates all the conversations that are happening around the web with this particular hashtag in mind. And what it does further to this is that it organizes these conversations by hashtags. So you can even create your own boards if you've come up with a new hashtag. So while Tagboard doesn't provide a way to find new hashtags, it's you that needs to come up with the idea of which hashtag you want to search for. It will keep you in the loop in terms of what's relevant in your niche and your industry across the whole wide web. So this can be invaluable when it comes to just, I guess I use the term, just comes to keeping your finger on the pulse on what's out there and what's being discussed. So to drill down, in the last one I mentioned, Tweetbinder, this one, it's more around if you have an idea of a general hashtag or a keyword that people are using in your niche, but you want to find new, more specific hashtags and you need to drill down further, this is where Tweetbinder can be useful to you, because you simply type in a general hashtag like hashtag tourism or hashtag social media, for example, and among other info, you'll receive a list of hashtags that are related to your query. So if you want to see what's being tweeted about that suggested term, simply click on it, on the hashtag, and you can see more recent and up-to-date tweets, which helps you keep up to date with trending conversations. So This is all to help you gain a strategy. The way I like to look at my strategy, and I hope this has inspired you to look at your hashtags with a little more love and a little more attention. The way that I work so I've done all of these things and used these tools. So I've generated about 11 different types of categories that I talk about in my social media, and particularly when it comes to my hashtag and Instagram strategy, I've got, digital marketing or social media or any type of marketing. I have 11 categories because I've got tourism specific. I have travel specific. And there's a difference because when it comes to my tourism specific hashtags, I'm talking more industry lingo. I'm talking more industry education and industry marketing. But when it comes to travel inspo, it's a whole different set of hashtags because that's destination inspired and it's aspirational for more consumer, to more the general wider audience of people that just love to travel. So it's a different type of post and a different type of conversation. So I felt it important to have a different set of strategies and a different set of 30 hashtags for each of those categories. Okay. Another one, I might have social media, then I have digital marketing, then I have video marketing, then I have content marketing, then I have just inspirational quotes. So you can see suddenly I've broken down and categorized what were the clusters or the buckets of the different types of things that I posted. I took a couple of hours out of my life and out of my time to research in the same way that I've shared with you today. And then initially when I did this, I would keep everything in my notes. Okay, the notes of my phone. So then I didn't recreate the wheel every time I wrote a post on Instagram. I would just have them at the ready, notes, boom, copy, what type of post is it? Okay, yep, this one's a tourism post. So I'm going to go over to my tourism hashtags, boom, boom, pop it into my post and I'm done. But what I've worked on since is I use a tool called Trello. So Trello, you may or may have not heard of it before. It's a little bit like Evernote, but why I've moved over from Evernote to Trello is because it's free to use on all devices. Evernote put a cap on how many devices you can use it on, and I do like to have access to my not just hashtags, but just to the content that I've put on this shared project platform. I like to use it on my Mac, on my phone, my smartphone, and also on my iPad. So that's why I did the switch to Trello. And now I've got a more categorized look of my hashtags. So that's a good little tip for you, is either use your notes or go and download Trello and have a play with it. And after you've done all your research, go and put them in categories, and then you just do a copy and paste, which is fantastic. Now, a very important thing that I need to mention with per post in your hashtag 101 strategy, when it comes to Instagram, you do have 30 hashtags per post. However, I would really love to encourage that in your main status update, you only use 2 to 4 hashtags total and add the remaining 26 hashtag in the first comment of your status. Okay, so it is still optimized. What this means is that you don't look like you're kind of going hashtag spammy. It looks a little bit desperado, and you really expose that what you're doing and what keywords you want to attract. Now, that's not to say that in the first comment it's hidden. It's just a little way of being more subtle about applying your strategy. And what I do here is I will optimize my post and my status update, use my top 4 hashtags, and then I will go into my Trello board, copy the remainder, and go and pop them into my first comment. You can have a look at the way, and you will see most social media or most larger Instagram accounts do this. You can go and check mine at Desi Karatius, and you can just see by way of engagement when I have optimized my posts with a hashtag strategy, I get a lot more engagement and following and conversation as opposed to ones that I don't do this. Last but not least, the greatest tool I love, and it is a Melbourne startup. Can you believe? This was a young man at the ripe old age of 25. His name is Hugh. His surname's, I can't remember his surname, but anyway, he's a young entrepreneurial, clever mind who came up with an awesome scheduling platform for Instagram where you can pre-schedule your Instagram posts. But the best thing is you don't only pre-schedule your posts and image, you can also pre-schedule the comments. The best thing about this, and I've searched other pre-scheduling tools, is number one, you can do it from your desktop. So if you've got beautiful imagery and it's a real pain in the backside for you to be emailing them to your phone or being able to have transfer them to a Dropbox or whatever, it's great because you can do it all from your desktop. And the only reason why I'm happy to part with my $20 a month for this pre-scheduling tool is because I can also optimize my posts with my 30 hashtags. Okay. This is coming to a wrap and I'll close it there. So I've shared with you some tools, some benefits, so why you should really take hashtags seriously, some tools like Hashtagify Me and Tagboard and Tweet. So there you have it, an entire episode dedicated to hashtags. Who would have thunk it? We covered not only the benefits, why we should take a little bit more of our time and effort and your beautiful strategic planning mind around optimizing and searching and categorizing your hashtags. We looked at tools like Hashtagify.me, Tagboard.com, Tweetbinder.com as ways to help you with your search and your research. And we also looked at a wonderful tool and scheduling platform like Schedugram for you to, I guess, work more productively with your Instagram by way of pre-scheduling your posts and being able to fully optimized with your 30 hashtags available within your post and your first comment, and doing it all from the comfort of your desktop that can be pushed out to your Instagram account. I hope you have gained value from this particular program and episode, and I wish you nothing more but excellence today and every single day in your business and tourism career. Until next time, it's Despina Karatius, and I will see you later. Relax.